Yo, so today is consumer unit day. This hopefully should be the easiest consumer unit I quite possibly ever fitted. So before we get into it, remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. So this is the Easy 9 board from Schneider Electric. We've got all our RCBOs, so we're fitting this today, and that is going right there. We've got a 25mm 3-core armoured, we're running underneath the floor. That goes to the meter box, which is outside. We're gonna put a 100 amp switched fuse in the meter box, which is just through the other side of that socket outside. So that's all running, so yeah, we'll get that up. But I think first things first, we've got an abundance of cables here. We'll chop all these down, remark them, because that is slightly a bit excessive. His fault. What? Always his fault. So yeah, we'll get cracking.
This is silent noise.
So now all the cables are shortened and remarked. The next part of the job is to get this board prepped. Now, getting the board prepped at the beginning is probably the most key thing you can do. It saves so much time. We'll get the knockouts I need knocked out. So the 32 in the bottom for the armoured cable. Get one of the knockouts out of the back. Luckily enough, there'll be no more knockouts knocked out on this board. Then we'll start inputting the RCBOs in, get the armoured made off. We'll re-ferrule crimp the neutrals on the RCBOs because they're too long. And that should be all for the prep. Then we can mount the board, obviously, and then start connecting all these cables. Okay, so we now have the consumer unit fixed to the wall. The next step for me, instead of putting all the RCBOs, SPD, main switch in first, I've got to get this armoured in. So Unilight not only do obviously great torches, but they also do things like knives and other hand tools coming soon as well. So 25% off, use code RDavis25 and that'll give you 25% off all Unilight products. This thing is an absolute beast, by the way. Yeah, and when you're fitting consumer units, this is the WC1L11, it's 11,000 lumen. So when you're doing your consumer units under staircases, this thing is a godsend. Okay, so now my incoming is in. We are all heat shrinked up, be easily identified now. One thing I do love about this board though, see these terminals, they are huge. Plenty of other boards that I've fitted struggle to accommodate 25mm earth, because we all know if we're running an armoured 3-core 25mm, we're not using a 16, so it does struggle to accommodate, but this one fitted perfectly, so kudos to you. So we're now inserting the RCBOs, but as you can see from the previous clip, I have ferrule crimped these ends, or re-ferrule crimped them, because these leads are so long. So it's just easier for me. I haven't got an excess of cable in the consumer unit, and especially with these earths as well, I'm trying to keep these earths out the way as much as possible. So I'm sort of tucking it behind the dim rail, keep it right out the way. I'll identify them and then I can collect them all with the rest of my CPCs up the top here. But yeah, good thing is, if you're going to chop them down, always re-ferrule crimp them. So a couple of little tweaks to this board that I would probably change now I'm fitting it. Obviously the fly leads for the earths, yeah, that's how they used to come, but quite easily get RCBOs now that don't have the fly leads. Also, where this is a 25mm earth, doesn't give you a lot of room for movement and manoeuvring, that it's quite hard to put it to where you want it, let's say. So that restricts me for a little bit of space coming into one of these RCBOs, which isn't the end of the world. We'll still get it in there, but yeah, that may be another good fault. Maybe, I don't know, just a little bit more room at the top, possibly. But we don't always fit, like I said before, we don't always fit 25mm earths. It's usually a 16, so you can manipulate that 16mm earth a little bit tighter radius to get it in. But for me, that is as far as I can get in there. At the moment, it's looking good. I'm in two minds whether to put some cable ties around there. I'm not a huge fan of cable ties in consumer units. but so far, so good. And once I'm all done as well, obviously, screwdriver, I'm just tightening these up hand tight. The end of the job, I will go around with the torque screwdriver, make sure it's set to the correct settings, torque all these up properly. Another thing on this job, we've got no power coming in here. The power's not even been put in by Southern Electric, I think it is. So everything is completely dead on here. And also, we've still got a lot of second fixings to do on this job. So testing wise, we still need to test the whole installation as well as the board, but we'll do that once we've got some power. So I'm now in the process of connecting my line and neutrals in here. I don't like leaving a huge amount of slack in the consumer unit. A lot of people come along, come back, bring it in the top. I've tucked down some of it down the back here, brought it back up, looped it in. If this was, I've done previous boards with trunking, whatnot around the consumer unit, I would leave some slack in the trunking here. We haven't got a lot of room for that. There is a bit of slack behind the board, which I have tucked a bit of cable in the back there, but I think it looks a lot neater. But like I said, there is quite a bit tucked down the back of this RCBO. It comes back up and back in. Right, so I'm just connecting up the buzz bar now, and what I like to do, I like to get it first in the main switch and then get it in the furthest breaker, and then I will tighten them all up in between. It just keeps it there. But what I have got is a little mirror from Boddington's, and you never know if you've done up the buzz bars right. So if you come in and have a look at the mirror, you can see, you can look right underneath them buzz bars once you've done them all up. Cracking little tool this. So yeah, I can go around now, tighten them all up. Only hand tight because we will torque it up at the end of the job, just to make sure. But other than that, I think it hasn't come out too bad. There is a few little things I still need to do. Need to put the leads in for the SPD, neutral up. But yeah, we'll get that done in the next coming days. Like I said, we've got no incoming supplier here at all. So, guys, if you like that, I hope a few of you got a few tips from that. Fingers crossed you did. Hopefully you've all learnt something. Remember, like, subscribe, put that bell on if you haven't already, if you want to be notified for the next upload. And I think that is all from us. We will catch you all later.